We're a little bit delayed, so we're going to keep the speeches as short as possible, but we've got a lot to talk about. So without further ado, we've got some real expertise that is very, very precious to us today. Let's welcome to the stage the former Minister of EU Affairs, Minister of State and Chief Negotiator of the Republic of Turkey, EGEMEN BAİŞ. Please welcome, sir.
Günaydın. Çok değerli konuklar, ev sahiplerimiz konuşmamı İngilizce yapmamı rica ettiler. Onun için müsaadelerinizle sözlerime İngilizce devam edeceğim. Kasya, I want to start by thanking you. Your announcement was good enough to awaken us after a great lunch, during which my wife called me and told me that some of her friends called and said, your husband has a difficult task. People will be sleeping after this great lunch. So she asked me to have each and every one of you do 10 jumping jacks to awake you. But instead, I will share a joke. But before I share my joke, I want to tell you that Antalya is a very unique place. You might ask me why I said that. And that's what my joke is all about. An 80-year-old man goes into a church, walks into the confession room, and tells the priest, I'm 80 years old, and I had an affair with a 20-year-old lady. The priest is shocked. He says, may God bless your sins. May God forgive you. You should not do it again. You should read the Bible from top to bottom, once again. And you should donate at least $100 to the church. The 80-year-old man says, I don't mind donating to the church, but I cannot read the Bible. The priest says, why not? He goes, because I'm Jewish. He says, if you're Jewish, why are you coming into my confession room and telling me that you just sinned with an 80-year-old, a 20-year-old lady? He goes, I'm telling everyone I can. Antalya is really a unique place, and we have to tell this to everyone we can. My good friend, our foreign minister, Mevlüt Çavuşoğlu, used to say that Alanya, which is his hometown, is probably one of the very few places where you can find an Israeli tourist swimming in the same pool with an Iranian tourist. And this is what makes this country so unique. For centuries, churches, synagogues, mosques have stood side by side, not only here in Antalya, but also in Istanbul, in Bursa, in Mersin, in Urfa, in Kayseri, in Cappadocia, in Hatay, the biblical city of Antioch, Antakya. And together they have provided peace to humanity. Turkey has embraced this into her foreign policy in the aftermath of the elections in 2002, and our economy grew. We built 3 times more highways, airports, schools, hospitals, and we also increased number of tourists coming into this country by 3-fold after the elections of 2002. Because we understood that our foreign policy has to be based on the facts. And the facts are, Turkey is a bridge. Turkey has always been a bridge between East and West, Europe and Asia, among cultures, civilizations, cuisines, religions. We were the most important bridge of the Silk Road. Today, we are still a very important bridge between energy resources and consumers, between supply and demand. And in order for a bridge to be dependable, ladies and gentlemen, it has to be based on at least 4 strong legs. Our eastern leg is as important as our western leg. Our northern leg is as important as our southern leg. We don't have the luxury to give one up for the other. Our geography dictates us to be friendly with all countries in the neighborhood. And our policies has to be based on increasing our trade, increasing our tourism, and increasing our image. If you think about it, Turkey is a European country. But at the same time, Turkey is an Asian country. We are a Middle Eastern country, but we are also a Mediterranean country. We are a country of the Caspian region, but we're also a Black Sea country. We are a Balkan country. We are a Eurasian country. We are all of the above. And that's what makes us so unique. And we should not give up any one of these characteristics for another. But there are also actors that pressure countries on different issues. In the olden days, Turkey was seen as the obedient, loyal ally who would deliver upon given instructions. Instructions of NATO, European Union, the Western world, Turkey would deliver immediately. But as Turkey grew, became more prosperous, and became more self-confident, Turkey started saying, well, I have some regional sensitivities. I have some national interests. I have a public opinion, because we are, after all, a democracy, not an emirate, not a sultanate. Public opinion does matter in this country. In summary, Turkey started to say, 1 minute. And that was not so easily digested by some certain power centers. They could not digest this. And then we started having problems since 2013. May of 2013 is probably the most successful month in the history of our republic. May 2013, for the first time after decades, the national interest rate was below 5%. It was 63% back in 2002 when my party came to power. In the early days of May, it was 4.75%. Unemployment rates in May 2013 were half of the European Union average unemployment rate. In May 2013, we had a bid to build the 3rd airport in Istanbul, which is going to be the largest airport in the world. The same month, it was also announced that a Japanese-French joint venture was going to invest 20 billion euros to generate nuclear energy in Turkey. The 3rd bridge was awarded to a Turkish, Italian, and Korean consortium in May 2013. After Kenan Evren, a president who had not been elected but who had come with a coup, then Prime Minister Erdogan was hosted at the Blair House in Washington, D.C. in May 2013. For the first time in our history, President of the Council of Europe, Mr. Rompuy, had visited Turkey. And all of a sudden, the last Friday of May 2013, we were faced with a crisis called Gezi uprisings. Since then, we have had many different issues creating more and more pressure on our economy, especially on our tourism. We have witnessed the December 17 and 25 judicial coup attempt. We went through the Kobani uprisings. We had major terrorist attacks in Urfa, Antep, Elazığ, Ankara. We witnessed for the first time since World War II taking down a Russian military plane by Turkish forces. Then we went through the G20 summit, which took place in this very hotel. But as the Chinese leader, which is one of the countries that has a great potential to send us tourists, was coming from the airport to this hotel, some clever mind came up with the idea of making an announcement that the missile deal with China was to be cancelled. It was adding insult to injury. And all of a sudden, all these were backed, now we realize, by a terrorist organization which is based out of Pennsylvania. This intellect that rules them had unfortunately created a lot of mess for us to deal with. On top of all of that, we witnessed the horrible attack at the airport, Atatürk Airport in Istanbul. On top of all of that, we faced July 15th, the attempt to create a civil war in Turkey. But to prove you the dynamism of Turkish economy, I'll share an anecdote of a very close friend of mine. A friend of mine enters internet on July 15th in the afternoon, orders a charger for his mobile phone, then takes the next plane to Izmir, goes to his summer home in Alaçatı. The next morning, despite the coup attempt, at 11 o'clock on July 16th, the phone charger is delivered. This shows dynamism of the Turkish private sector. A good friend of mine is the CEO of Philip Morris. They have a lot of facilities manufacturing their products. They did not stop. They worked 24 hours and they did not stop. None of the employees wanted to leave work knowing the fact that the country was going through a coup attempt. All of our hotels who were hosting the guests continued to provide the same services. So this shows that Turkey can deal with multiple crises at the same time. So, having witnessed all of that, we have a very smart prime minister with a very experienced and able leader, President Erdogan, who have together announced the new foreign policy, which has a direct relationship on our tourism. The new policy is to increase our friends and minimize our enemies. And that's what we need to do. You know why? Because Turkey is the most eastern part of the West and most western part of the East. 2017, I hope and believe will be a much better year because of two reasons. One, for the last year there was an international decision-making gap. One of the most important capitals of this world is undoubtedly Washington, D.C., where for the last year there was a lame duck president who had lost the control, majority, in both houses, both the Senate and the House of Representatives. And as of January 20th, they will have a new president who has the majority in both houses. So the global decision-making process is going to be better, and the new leader will be able to communicate with his counterparts, if needed, bargain with his counterparts like Putin, Netanyahu, Erdogan, Merkel, the Chinese leader, who are also very strong personalities, and we're going to have a better world order. But domestically, what relates more to each and every one of us is our domestic agenda, the upcoming constitutional changes in the parliament, and the referendum for the public acceptance of it. Once go through all of that, I am sure as of March 2017, we will start having a bright future. And 2018, we will be taking off seriously. And according to the international analysts, Turkey, Japan, and Poland will be the rising stars of the international arena for the next 30 years. So with that in mind, I ask each and every one of you to invest more and be ready for the great potential ahead of us. Thank you for listening to me.
Minister, thank you very much. That was a really uplifting presentation. It's lovely to hear such warm words. We have a gift for you. If we could go to the front as well and make the gift. We are looking forward to the future, and I think, as the former minister put it, we have so much to look forward to. We know Turkey is a resilient country. We can see its bright future. Let's make it shine as much as possible. Minister, thank you so, so much. Thank you.